Well, I think this is about an appropriate way to start because this is about as much effort as I saw from those United players today. Just very, very lazy. A lot of walking, not a lot of effort from the majority of the players on the pitch. But let's not start there. Let's start with the refereeing because for both teams, I thought the refereeing was absolutely appalling. Newcastle should have had a penalty. Manchester United should have had a penalty. I think Dan Burn was lucky not to get sent off for a couple of yellow card challenges, and on top of that, just an overall accumulation of fouls. But I think Bruno Fernandes was also lucky to stay on the pitch. Firstly, his challenge that got him booked was near enough a red card offence in itself, and then he made like 2 or 3 fouls after he was booked as well. So, first off, the refereeing from everyone was poor. So that's obviously had an effect on the game. Not the right decisions weren't made. It's playing on the players' minds, this, that, and the other. But then after that, I just think overall it was just a very, very poor game of football. And yet again, we suffer for our lack of creativity when Eriksen's not playing. As soon as I saw the starting lineup, I saw Christian Eriksen wasn't in the squad. I saw Marcus Rashford wasn't in the starting 11. I knew we'd struggle to score. And that, of course, proved to be the case. I think a draw is a fair result. By the way, I will say that off the bat. I think a draw was a fair result. I think Newcastle were unlucky not to be leading at half-time. Like we said, they should have had a penalty in the first half. And how Joelinton misses an open goal from 5 yards, I don't really know. But that's obviously how that happened. And then towards the end of the game, Manchester United had their big 2 chances at the end with Fred's miss and then Rashford's header at the end. So I think the draw is the fair result, but the lack of intensity, the lack of creativity really is a concern as we go into a week where we now face Tottenham and Chelsea off the back of their respective fantastic runs of form. So I do fear for us now. I looked at this week going Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea, saying we need minimum 6 out of 9. Realistically, we'll get between 4 and 7. And we have drawn what is in theory the easiest game without ever looking like winning the game. Because again, we had our chances, but they were right at the very end of the game after Newcastle should have been ahead. So major, major concerns. Obviously, Fred, once again, not good enough. On the ball, poor. Defensively, fine. I'm never going to knock Fred for his defensive effort. I thought, again, defensively, I thought he had a very good second half. There were chances for Newcastle on the counter. Fred was very good at breaking up the play. But the moment he had the ball at his feet, there was just a constant concern he was going to give the ball away because his passing is just not good enough. And if you needed any more proof that his passing wasn't good enough, when his target was a massive open goal, he passed it wide. And how can you trust someone like that in your midfield? If you can't hit an open target that large, how are you expected to hit a moving target that small? So I just don't know where we go from here in terms of Fred. For me, he shouldn't be playing. McTominay will obviously be available for Spurs. Unclear whether or not Eriksen will be over his illness right now. So I'm hoping and I'm praying that Eriksen will be all right, because even if it is Casemiro and McTominay, I would fear for them against Spurs' midfield. I suppose the only good news is that Dalot got through the game without getting booked, so he'll be able to play against Son, where he will then inevitably get booked and not be able to play against Chelsea. But I don't know. Should I talk about Ronaldo? Probably not. I don't think there's any more justification needs to be made. Ronaldo had a very poor game. I think Ten Hag had every right to substitute him, so I don't really want to say any more on that. I suppose the other thing that disappointed me is that was the only substitution that he made. I think there was definitely a cause to put Garnacho on, to put Elanga on, offer a little bit more threat. We looked dangerous at times when we got the ball, like out to Anthony and Sancho, and then Rashford eventually when he came on. We looked dangerous when we were taking people on, but it just didn't happen enough. And obviously, Fred is a major part of that in that we weren't getting the ball out to the wide players. So maybe again, I would have liked to have seen Zidane Iqbal come on in midfield for him as well. Just offer something a little bit more. It's a very flat feeling right now. It's kind of what I have. I just needed to see so much more in that game. We spoke about it after the Ammonia Nicosia game, that creating chances is all well and good. If but you have to put the ball in the net. And today we didn't create anywhere near enough chances, so it wasn't a surprise that when the chances eventually came, we still didn't put the ball in the net. And that's it, really. I don't think there's anything else to say. I think we are in massive trouble in our next 2 games against Spurs and Chelsea. I don't really know how much work can be done over the next couple of days to get us ready for that, because both these teams are firing on all cylinders right now, picking up results left, right and centre. And we're just plodding along. We plodded along against Ammonia Nicosia. We have more than plodded along against Newcastle today. And that's resulted in 1 goal in the 93rd minute the other day. And 2 good opportunities in the 88th minute and the 93rd minute again today. So how we're going to fare against teams that are, with the greatest of respect, better than Newcastle on paper, remains to be seen. But we move on. I'm looking forward to the Liverpool-Man City game that's about to kick off. So hopefully some entertainment in that one. But it is obviously Liverpool and City. So my only wish is that both teams will lose. So yeah, not much to be happy about. But another game in the books. And we move on to the next one. Thank you very much for watching.